You did not open this video by accident. Over the last 3 days, something has changed within you, and you can't name what it is. Perhaps it was that moment when you woke up in the middle of the night, for no reason, your body tired, but your mind already racing, rehashing thoughts you didn't choose to think. Perhaps it was that strange feeling that something is about to change, a light tightness in your chest that isn't common anxiety. It's more like anticipation. Perhaps you felt the urge to distance yourself from conversations that used to distract you, to scroll through your feed and find nothing that satisfies you, as if your inner field were rejecting the external noise because it needs silence to hear something more important. This is not a coincidence. This is not the algorithm. This is your energetic body reacting to the approach of a threshold, and in the next few minutes, you will understand exactly what this threshold is, why it is opening between July 8th and 14th, and what to do with it before it closes again. There are 2 ways to cross this period. The first is the way of the sleeping majority. These people will feel the exact same restlessness you are feeling now, the same light insomnia, the same emotional weight coming to the surface, but they will interpret it all as work stress, as a bad day, as accumulated fatigue. They will have an extra coffee, they will go to bed early, they will wait for the feeling to pass on its own, and it will pass, because the window closes regardless of whether you use it or not. They will move on to the next month exactly as they were, carrying the same weight, repeating the same cycle, without understanding why life seems to go in circles. The second way is the way of those who have the internal infrastructure to recognize the signal and act on it. It's not luck, it's not a special gift, it's a decision. And if you've made it this far, listening to this attentively instead of scrolling to the next video, your body is already telling you which group you belong to. Before going deeper, it's necessary to debunk a romantic idea that surface spirituality has sold you for years. A portal is not an astronomical phenomenon that will descend and rescue you. No energy will enter your room at night and rearrange your life while you sleep. A portal is, in practice, the moment when the cost of remaining stuck in your current reality finally becomes greater than the fear of taking the next step. It's pure emotional math. As long as the fear of change is greater than the discomfort of staying, you stay. The instant the discomfort of staying outweighs the fear of change, you move, even without any guarantee of where you will land. And this is exactly what the new moon between July 8th and 14th represents. Not a gift falling from the sky, but an internal pressure pushing you out of the space where you no longer fit. The ground only appears after you take the step, never before. The new moon is, energetically speaking, the 0 point of a cycle. It's the moment when the night sky is devoid of visible light, an apparent void that is actually the most fertile space to plant a new intention. Just as nature uses the darkness of the moon to reset the tides, your nervous system and your emotional field also respond to this reset. But a reset requires preparation, just as a seed requires tilled soil before being planted. That's why the 7 days leading up to the new moon in July between the 8th and 14th are not just a countdown of days on the calendar. They are 7 spiritual doors, 7 layers that need to be traversed for your consciousness to be truly ready to receive what is about to be born. Ignoring this preparation is like planting in hardened soil. The seed may exist, but it finds no place to root. Therefore, each of these 7 keys you are about to learn now is not spiritual decoration. It's structure. It's the foundation that separates those who experience the new moon as a beautiful event on the calendar from those who truly turn this period into a real turning point in your own life. The first key is the awakening of consciousness. Before any ritual, before any intention written on paper, there is a more raw and necessary work. To stop and look directly at the life you are living today, without filters, without justification. Most people go through their days on autopilot, repeating the same schedules, the same reactions, the same internal phrases, without realizing they are trapped within a pattern they themselves created and now sustain out of habit. The awakening of consciousness is the moment you stop, breathe, and honestly ask yourself, does what I am living still have anything to do with me? Or is it just the inertia of an old version that I have already overcome internally, but still carry externally? Perhaps it's a relationship that has lost its meaning but continues out of fear of loneliness. Perhaps it's a job that drains more than it gives back, but continues out of fear of instability. Perhaps it's an image of yourself built years ago that no longer corresponds to who you are becoming now. Recognizing this hurts, because it means admitting that a part of your life is out of alignment with your purpose. But it is precisely this pain that opens the first crack. You don't change what you don't see. And the first day of this 7-key journey exists precisely to force this encounter with truth, without anesthesia, without excuses, without another day of postponement. It is at this exact point, when consciousness has been awakened but still doesn't know where to direct this newly released energy, that most people get stuck. They identify the pattern, feel the discomfort, but lack a structured path to transform this perception into real movement. That's why I prepared Magia em 28 Exercícios, as 28 Chaves do Despertar, for you. It's not another theoretical course on spirituality. It's a practical 28-day journey, a complete lunar cycle, designed specifically for those who feel they are different, who are tired of spinning in circles, and who need a real map to transform restlessness into direction. Each of the 28 keys has been built to guide you to recognize the signs of your own soul, integrate what you have been avoiding seeing within yourself, and finally, live your inner truth without needing to explain yourself to anyone. If you've come this far feeling like this video is describing your life with uncomfortable precision, it's not a coincidence, it's recognition. In the pinned comment of this video, you'll find the way to start this journey while still within the energetic window that is opening now. Comment ready if you feel this shift has already begun within you, even if you don't yet have the exact words to explain what is changing. After this initial recognition, the journey moves on to the second and third keys, which together form the most uncomfortable and at the same time most liberating process of the entire preparation: emotional release and cleansing the past. This is where most people want to jump straight to the pretty part, to manifestation, to intention, to desire. But no house is built on ground full of rubble. Before building anything new, you must remove what is in the way, and what is in the way most of the time is not bad luck or lack of effort. It's accumulated emotional weight, stored grievances, fears never faced, resentments you've learned to carry as if they were part of your personality, when in reality they are just scars that never healed properly. Think of your energetic field as a cup. If the cup is already full of old, stagnant water, no matter how much new, clean water you try to pour in, it will overflow without ever truly filling the space. This is exactly what happens when someone tries to manifest a new life without first emptying the cup. The new energy strikes the old energy and flows out, never settling. Days 2 and 3 of this preparation call for a simple exercise in form, but profound in content. Sitting in silence and allowing what has been repressed to rise to the surface without judgment. It might be old sadness from a relationship that ended badly. It might be pent-up anger from an injustice you never voiced. It might be fear disguised as rationality, that fear that dresses itself as, "I'm being realistic," just to avoid the risk of dreaming again. Emotional release doesn't require you to relive the entire trauma. It requires you to stop running from it. There's a huge difference between repressing an emotion and processing it. Repressing is pushing it down and pretending it doesn't exist, until it comes back disguised as anxiety, insomnia, unprovoked irritation, or that exhaustion that no amount of sleep can resolve. Processing is allowing the emotion to move through the body, whether by crying, writing, deep breathing, or simply naming aloud what you feel until it loses the power it had over you. Every released hurt frees up space. Every faced fear releases energy that was trapped sustaining that fear. And it is precisely this recovered energy that will fuel the next phase of your transformation. If, as you're listening to this, you feel that there's a whole list of things you've never released, this is not a cause for shame, it's a cause for a good urgency. The window to process this lightly, guided, within a structure designed specifically for this lunar moment, is short. Returning to the process, after these emotional layers begin to loosen, the mind enters the next, even more decisive phase, which is rewriting one's own identity. The fourth and fifth keys deal with mental reprogramming and connecting with the new identity. Here lies one of the greatest misconceptions of superficial spirituality, the idea that simply thinking positively is enough to change your life. Positive thinking without an identity shift is just makeup on a structure that remains the same underneath. True reprogramming isn't forcing beautiful thoughts. It's identifying the old beliefs that are silently driving every decision you make and replacing them one by one with beliefs that support the life you say you want to live. If, deep down, a part of you still believes that money is hard, relationships always end in disappointment, or people like me can't have this kind of life, no intention written in a pretty notebook will overcome this background programming. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. No matter how much you accelerate, the engine will strain, burn energy, and the car will move little or not at all. Real reprogramming happens when you start to think, feel, and act like the version of yourself who has already overcome these blocks, even before having external proof that this version exists. This isn't pretending, it's rehearsing. It's training your nervous system to recognize as a safe sensation what was previously unknown territory. The person you want to become doesn't suddenly appear on the day your life changes. She is built internally, decision by decision, choice by choice, long before any external change manifests. Days 4 and 5 of this journey ask you to observe, with almost detective-like attention, the automatic thoughts that arise when you imagine the life you desire. If the first reaction is doubt, suspicion, or a "this isn't for me," that is precisely the point that needs to be worked on, because that's where the old identity is defending itself from change. It is precisely at this moment of preparation, when the mind begins to perceive the extent of its own conditioning, that most people feel the urge to give up, because confronting one's own limiting beliefs alone, without guidance, is tiring and confusing. A quick reminder. That's what Magia em 28 Exercícios is for, a 28-day structure that guides you key by key through exactly this reprogramming process, without you having to guess on your own which beliefs are holding you back. The first pinned comment continues with the access path, and the decision made now within this window is what separates those who only watch the video from those who truly change their lives. The sixth key is the activation of intention and spiritual alignment, and this is where the preparation begins to gain clear direction. After awakening consciousness, releasing emotional weight, and reprogramming underlying beliefs, the energy that was previously scattered, trapped in repetitive patterns, is now free to be directed. But free energy without direction dissipates. A focal point is needed, and that focal point is clear intention. Not a vague list of generic desires, but a deep connection with what you truly want to build, felt in the body, not just thought in the mind. Visualization works not because it's magic, but because the human brain does not completely distinguish between an experience lived with emotional intensity and an experience imagined with the same intensity. When you visualize with real sensory details the life you are building, the nervous system begins to recognize that state as possible and starts acting, even in small daily choices, in the direction of what has been visualized. Gratitude enters here not as a cheesy gesture, but as a tool for energetic recalibration. Feeling gratitude for what already exists, even amidst transformation, sends the body the signal that there is already enough security to receive more. It's counterintuitive, but it works the opposite of what the anxious mind expects. You don't receive first to then feel gratitude. You feel genuine gratitude first, and that opens internal space to receive. Day 6 of this preparation calls for a simple exercise. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and allow the deepest intention, the one you may even be afraid to admit out loud, to rise to the surface without censorship. It's not about asking for little out of fear of disappointment. It's about honestly naming what your soul truly desires, and then trusting that the process initiated in previous days has already prepared the ground for this intention to find fertile soil. The seventh key, corresponding to day 7, is the ritual of opening and the reception of new energy. After 6 days of inner work, the moment of the new moon itself ceases to be just a date on the calendar and becomes the meeting point between all the preparation done and the new energy that is arriving. This is not a day to force anything. It is a day for silence, for presence, for meditation, for simply being. The anxiety of doing the ritual right often blocks more than it helps. What really matters is not the perfection of the ritual, but the quality of presence with which you perform it. It can be as simple as lighting a candle, breathing deeply for a few minutes, writing down the intention named the previous day by hand, and then releasing the paper, literally or symbolically, as a gesture of entrusting the process to something greater than mental control. Trust here is not passivity. It is the calm certainty of someone who has already done the necessary work and now allows the result to organize itself in its own time, without anxiety about controlling every detail of how. This is also the most decisive moment of this entire journey, because it is where most people, even after having done all the work up to this point, hesitate before the final commitment to sustain this new energy after the ritual ends. The uncomfortable truth is that performing a beautiful ritual on a single day does not sustain a lifelong transformation. Continuity is needed, structure is needed, someone is needed to guide the next steps after the portal energy has passed. And this is exactly what Magia M28 Exercícios delivers. Not an isolated ritual of one day, but a complete 28-day journey, a lunar cycle, entirely, which sustains this transformation far beyond the July 14th date, guiding you through each of the 28 keys of awakening, so that you don't just feel the new moon energy for a few hours, but truly rebuild the foundation of your life upon it. This is the final call within this specific energetic window. In the pinned comment is the path. The decision to enter or not is yours, but the window, like any lunar window, does not stay open forever. True transformation, however, does not end on the 7th day. That is the secret most people seeking spirituality never learn. The portal is not the goal, it is the gateway. The 8th layer of this journey, integration, is what separates those who experience a beautiful moment and return to the exact same life from those who truly cross over into a new version of themselves. After the new moon opens, after the ritual is performed, there is a critical period when the new energetic frequency is still fragile, still settling, and it is easy, without realizing it, to let old patterns reassert control simply out of habit. Maintaining the new frequency requires conscious repetition of the choices that sustain this new identity, continuing to process emotions as they arise, continuing to observe automatic thoughts and course correct, continuing to act as the version you are becoming, even on days when the initial inspiration has waned. The July new moon is not just an astronomical event repeated every month. It is a concrete opportunity for you to consciously decide what kind of person will cross the remainder of this year. The quantum leap so often spoken of in the spiritual universe is not a dramatic external event. It is the sum of small, aligned decisions, repeated day after day, until one day you look back and realize that the person you were a few months ago would no longer recognize the life you are living now. Not because something fell from the sky, but because you decided, key by key, to become this new version. If at any point in this video you felt you were being described with a precision that didn't seem like chance, write now in the comments the date that weighs most heavily on your field at this moment. July 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th. This written word is not just a comment. It is a declaration that you recognize the moment you are living, and the algorithm, however ironic it may seem, will take this video to others who also need to recognize their own threshold. What you have heard so far was just preparation. The complete revelation of what this July new moon represents for the rest of your year and for the larger cycle unfolding from it is in the next video that is already appearing on your screen now. The first 60 seconds of it will change how you understand the moment you are living. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, understand one important thing. Each video here is not an isolated piece of content. It is a coordinate within a larger map, the map of the complete spiritual year, of the windows that open and close, of the portals that have been announced for weeks and those yet to come. Without subscribing, you only receive loose fragments of this map, without ever seeing the complete picture. The next videos show exactly what happens after this July 8th to 14th window. And missing this sequence means losing the entire context of the journey you have already begun to traverse today. Click on the video that is on the screen now and continue from where this preparation left you.